Chapter 164 begins moments where Chapter 163 concluded, with Higuruma versus Itadori. Itadori, firm on his feet, ready to face off whatever Higuruma throws at him, surprises Itadori and myself with the domain expansion titled Forced Suicide Punishment, and that takes the cake for one of the best domain expansion names I have ever heard. So let's go ahead and quickly assess the situation here and figure out how he has mastered a domain expansion. I'm actually going to echo what the fake weeb said on his JJK 164 video, and it's either 1, his resolve and mastery of learning about curse techniques in such a short amount of time makes him extremely gifted, or 2, which is most likely what I'm going to deduce, is that the people who are marked by Kenjaku, Higuruma, Takaba, Sumiki, etc. are granted this extraordinary power for a specific purpose. Which, side tangent, if that's the case, I wouldn't put it past Kenjaku that he's on some 40 Aizen level chessboard thinking and purposely set up Higuruma versus Itadori in the first place. In any case, Itadori quickly dashes in for an attack while Higuruma is casting the domain expansion, but the attack fails as Higuruma explains that neither of them can use violence in his domain expansion. Higuruma's Shikigami, named Judgment, fitting nicely with the court themes here, begins to read a charge against Itadori, supposedly of him entering a gambling facility in the past. Higuruma explains that Judgment knows everything about an individual casted into the domain expansion, but Higuruma does not, except for the envelope encased to him marked as evidence. This quote-unquote evidence does not actually prove anything, however, as Judgment makes decisions based on Itadori's and Higuruma's declarations, which again fits in nicely with the trial court system's theme. We cut into a flashback of Tengen then exploring how domain expansions in the past worked compared to modern domain expansions, in which that, for Higuruma's case, it's a sure hit, sure kill only domain expansion. To allow a sure hit domain expansion, you must enforce your own rules upon the subject entering the domain, which this sumo analogy definitely helps reinforce that concept. However, it begs the question, are domain expansions in the past that much more powerful compared to modern domain expansions? Domain expansions in modern times perhaps could have advanced in abilities and strength over time because of a generational thing, as we've seen prevalent with Megumi, Itadori, Maki, etc. But I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say in the comments down below. Anyway, Higuruma proceeds to tell how the judgment trial works to Itadori. The two of them will each only have one chance to lay their claims: silence, denial, or confession, in which the judgment will give a ruling based on the code of laws. Itadori decides to lie about playing with an actual pachinko machine, but decides to tell the truth about entering the gambling facility. As a result, judgment rules Itadori guilty and now commands confiscation. I love how Itadori struggles as to whether or not he should have told the truth, playing up for some comedic moments here within the chapter, but come on now, what would you have done in this situation? Higuruma then attacks Itadori with a massive gavel, and I love how it can be conjured up freely and changes up its size. Itadori then realizes as a result of lying he can't access his curse energy at all and is left in a precarious situation, concluding the end of chapter 164. I really enjoyed this chapter, and it's interesting to see how Higuruma's domain expansion abilities work and how thought out it was crafted. Shout out to Gege Akutami, always flexing his abilities with these curse techniques. But come on now, we all know Itadori can do just fine physically plowing through his opponents, so I don't think this is going to be a major handicap Higuruma is expecting. But what do you guys think about this chapter? My name is DJ Miles. Don't forget to stay hydrated, drink water, take care.